John Deere dealer invites you to the Spring Equipment and Technology Clinic February 3rd through the 5th at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney. New this year, the planter and sprayer clinics are combined into one streamlined, hands-on event built around growers' time and needs. Get expert training on John Deere planters and sprayers on topics including maintenance, technology, and autonomy. Don't miss it, February 3rd through the 5th in Kearney. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for details.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You've got used to one segment of good takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of good takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back in. Thick weeknights. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Chris Raff joins me down from Alabama, streaming in. The host as always. You guys are welcome to join in. 402-464-5685. Got nothing taken over the brick and mortar tonight. We're just keeping it here locally all the way till midnight. Started him and text line open, like I said, and as well as the streams. Chris Raff, how's it going on Thursday, January 15th, 2026?
It's going pretty good. I could do without this cold weather, though. I'm ready to return back to my 60-degree, 70-degree weather. This 20-degree weather is no fun at all.
You're doing 20 degrees? I don't even think it's that cold here.
24 here tonight.
What the hell's going on there? Let me see what Lincoln is. I think Lincoln, Nebraska's weather is actually, well, let me double check. It might have dropped down quite a bit. It's 30 degrees, so we are doing better than you.
Lucky Ducks. Hey,
in basketball and in weather.
So I caught you and DP's conversation about the Hail Mary.
Yeah, by the way, late night in Lincoln yesterday was fascinating. It was a history hour, but what'd you hear?
Okay, so the Hail Mary, the DP was saying that was the first time that it ever was used.
Yeah.
Do you know how it was coined, the Hail Mary?
I'd imagine someone that's the amount of time it takes for the ball to go from the quarterback to the receiver as you pray a Hail Mary. I got no idea.
Okay, so what happened was after the game, Roger Staubach, devout Christian, big time. They were interviewing him after the game and they asked him, what he was feeling going into that final play, that the touchdown pass to Drew Pearson. He goes, well, I just dropped back, said a Hail Mary and threw it. And that's where the beginning of the Hail Mary came from, was from actually Roger Staubach. So he's probably wishing that he would have put a patent on that so he could have made some money. However, Roger Staubach is one of the most, what's the word? I guess you just say rich. He's one of the richest NFL players in the history of the NFL. A lot of people don't know that, but he made a ton of money after his NFL playing career. So he's probably getting up close to probably worth $1 billion if I was a guessing man. But that's how the Hail Mary basically began was with Roger Staubach after the game and the press conference.
Estimated about 600 million is his net worth. So not
Yes.
bad. Not doing bad for himself. Yeah, that was incredible though. What fascinated me more was that they used to call that an alley-oop.
That actually, so you know where the alley-oop originated from?
Basketball, I'd imagine, but I don't know.
It started in basketball, but they coined it actually. It's from the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers. And they had a receiver on their team. His name was R.C. Owens. And he had a basketball pass, and they started throwing him, the high pass. He'd, catch it out of the air, like an alley-oop, of course. And so the alley-oop was actually R.C. Owens coined for him. I believe the quarterback was John Brody, if I'm not mistaken. So it was John Brody to R.C. Owens, and that would have been probably mid 50s, early 60s was when the alley-oop originated with R.C. Owens.
Yeah, it's when you go back in history, it blows your mind about how some of these things came to be. And also just like looking at some of those plays, what was it? We watched Franco Harris and what might be one of the most freak plays I've ever seen when he's with the Steelers and he gets a ricochet scoop pass that was maybe inches off the turf and full speed, like just bending down, scoops it up and runs it in. And then you got some plays where you're looking and you're like, is that a flag? Oh no, those are beer bottles. There's glass beer bottles on the field.
So what was the play? What was that coined? The one to Franco Harris. Do you know what that was coined?
Oh, I should remember. DP is going to come in here and grill me if I forgot it already. Oh man.
The Immaculate Reception.
That's right. It was the Immaculate Reception. I should have known that.
So there was a lot in that play that there was a lot of controversy. Like, did the ball touch the ground when it got to Franco Harris? It was very close, and there never was really a clear camera angle to show that maybe the tip of the ball might have touched the ground. If you go to the Pittsburgh airport, they have a statue, and they have that every time AD goes there. He always gets a picture with the Franco Harris statue. However, there was more controversy to that play also because the NFL used to have a rule. It could not touch two offensive players in a row. So there was controversy whether it hit, I believe, Frenchie Fuqua, or if it hit, I believe it was Jack Tatum. And so they came to the conclusion that it did not hit Frenchie and it hit off Tatum, then back to Franco. And so then the referees came back, said that the ball was still in the air. It did not touch two offensive players in a row. And let's get the heck out of here. A lot of people think that when they went into the dugout, because they actually went into the dugout, it almost was the first instant replay in NFL history. It probably was because they went in the dugout. They said they talked to John Madden, swore by this until his death, that they went into the dugout, took a phone call. He's thinking probably the NFL said, hey, if you don't call this a touchdown, there's going to be a riot. So came out of the dugout, signaled touchdown, and that was the Immaculate Reception.
And then we got DP chiming in here for the history. He says RC Owens QB was Tittle.
Was who?
Tittle.
Why Tittle? Yep. Okay. Yep. So I knew it was either Tittle or Brody. Everybody thinks of Wyatt Tittle for when he played for the Giants. There's a picture. I don't know if you've ever seen it where he's kind of on his knees on the field and there's blood gushing out of his head. That picture is, it's super famous. You don't see many NFL quarterbacks with blood gushing out of their head anymore, but that, and also too, he was probably in that picture. He was probably only like 32 years old and he looked like he was about 54. So, or maybe 50. He looked a lot older than me. So I'm going to say 62, maybe 63.
Let's see. You do get your bestest of friends. Aaron Davis chimes in, says it was a catch.
Oh Lord.
I'll say this much: if you're the refs in that one, no way in hell you're overturning that. If they were already rushing the field, you would have gotten beat up if you try to overturn that one. That is it's good. You get the hell out of there.
There is so much crazy stuff in old school NFL football. Like I always think back to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and when they used to have the cars on the sideline. So there was a car dealership. They let them have their cars on the sideline. And there's a play it would have been, oh man, it would have probably been mid to early 70s. And Terry Bradshaw's running a go route to Lynn Swan. Lynn Swan jumps over, he gets to the back of the end zone, goes through the back of the end zone, and jumps over the car.
Like Blake Griffin, dunk contest style?
Exactly.
That's incredible.
So yeah,
I kind of miss some of that. I would like a little bit. Obviously, you're never going to see that again for obvious reasons, but it would be cool to see the actual moment where the NFL was really tough and gritty, but it was still not to the points where everything was so controlled in an environment where you could go get some of these games, like the fog game as well. Today, they're just rescheduling that. They're not allowing their TV companies to air a game that nobody can even see on the television. Like, they would figure out a way to just move that game. Back then, you're going to figure out a way to play that game. Same thing with the Ice Bowl. I mean, there's so many iconic games in the past that just they wouldn't allow today, just straight up, let alone you get the crazy things, which is a good thing. They probably don't allow fans to throw beer bottles. That one we can all agree on is a good maneuver. But just the craziness of some of those stories that you go back, and for people in my generation, I'm only 26 years old. You get it. Like, yeah, it's a tough and grittier league, but some of these games will blow your mind. Like, what were these guys doing? A, playing in those elements. B, playing with that kind of equipment. Or you just told me, I didn't know, like playing with games parked on the sideline. That seems like a hazard waiting to happen, but I guess it worked out.
Well, have you ever seen the inside of a NFL football helmet from the 70s?
I don't know. You got a leather one. Was it just cowhide? Because I'd imagine this is the 70s era.
Basically, it had. Does he have an older helmet there by chance? One from maybe looks from the 70s. It might have.
Give me 1 sec. I'll grab one more. If you feel, I'm gonna hop off camera for like 5 seconds.
So the original helmets from the 70s, basically it was like 3 straps coming from each side supported at the top. And there was very minimal padding. I'm trying to see if he's I was just saying it. The original helmet had that's it. That is it. What the helmets look like. Pretty much the same. And then they had ear pads and the ones, and those helmets were that was what it looked like in the 70s.
Yeah, I understand why CTE was a problem. I mean, this thing, I'll tap on it on the mic. Again, we're just holding up helmets for everyone who's listening, just audio only. I know we're live on the Brick and Mortar. Welcome in, 93.7 The Ticket. You guys are welcome to text in. But, I mean, that just doesn't sound good. Like, that sounds like thin plastic. And if you watch on screen, I mean, it's just a suspension cushion. There's no real padding inside. It's just the suspension is supposed to keep your head away from hitting the hard plastic. And when we're talking about NFL dudes that are weighing 300 plus pounds and the way they're able to hit back in the day, it's incredible that some of these guys are still walking around speaking totally fine, because what a brutal sport.
I remember still back in the day from you can't say that word anymore, the Little League football. I remember that my first helmets that I had, the padding was so hard on the inside. And I remember when I got to high school, and we got like a bike helmet that had like the way you blow it. They had a pump that you put and you blow up the. I mean, it felt like
we had when I got to high school football. That's what the removable pads where you pump them up with air.
Yeah, and so there was a huge difference just from Little League football to high school, because the Little League those helmets were pretty much straight out of the early 80s. When they start playing football, 80. 87, 86. Yeah. So those helmets were probably early 80s helmets. I mean, and I remember the first time I put on a helmet, I was like, oh, this is not fun. They were so uncomfortable. And then I remember when I went to high school, it was
cold winter day and you got to put on that helmet, and it's like it just rips your skin trying to pull that thing on, and it's got to be tight. Oh man, and I used to think I had it bad. Now you put on the helmets today, man, you feel like you could run 10 miles in them. They're nice and comfortable. They're heavy, but it's got like when I was in high school, people in my generation are probably pretty close to around there. Like the Speed Revolution, and that's what everyone wears now, where it's got like the hexagon on the front that gives you that little bit of extra padding. Like that was the next one where they got away from like the pump pads where you just got to fill them up with air and then put them in there one by one. That's when they finally moved to just having that like nice cushioning all around, and then you just order the size of the helmet, and then it's got like ratchet straps that you can just quickly snap it on as opposed to having to manually adjust it just to the right length. Incredible how nice it is now. And I used to complain because I thought our helmets were bad. You just go back 20 years, they were so much worse.
Yeah, and a funny thing too, like my helmet, it got repainted so much with the different teams or whatever, it probably ended up weighing probably a quarter of a pound, half a pound more than what it was supposed to weigh because of all the teams. I'd keep the same helmet and I just paint the emblem and then get the stickers from the team or whatever. So because I liked my helmet. You get used to it. Like I remember when Aaron Rodgers, then they made him switch his helmet and he was like, I've been wearing the same one for 17 years. I understand where he was coming from there because you just get used to wearing your helmet. I remember the arena team I played on, they I don't know why I didn't have my helmet with me that night. And they gave me one of their team issued helmets. And I was just like, this is horrible. And I was like, is there any way if I give you my helmet, you guys can paint it for, so they did my helmet up for me. But yeah, definitely you get used to playing with the same helmet. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, the kids today are lucky. It amazed me. Like if I was a parent back in the 70s, 80s, like I seeing the helmets, I'd be the dad, not even the mom. I'd be the dad. Be like, I don't want my boy playing football. Like he's gonna. He's done.
Here's the deal. I mean, honesty is honesty here. The 70s and 80s were a lot different than today. Like wearing a helmet when you bike ride, that was a never. I mean, no one wore helmets when they rode their bikes in the 70s and 80s. And if there was, it was very few. You know, now if you're a little kid, you can't even get out of the garage without, you know, a parent or somebody saying, wear your helmet, you know, and it's like, but those were words that you just never heard. Another thing, some people listening might disagree with me, but wearing a seatbelt in the back seat, be honest with you, I always thought if you were in the back seat, you didn't need a seatbelt. I mean, that was pretty crazy thinking.
Living on the farm, I know all the farm kids probably have very similar stories to you, Raff, where you were riding shotgun with your parents, and you know, I don't ever remember a booster seat. Nobody sure had one, but like I was sitting shotgun pretty early, and it wasn't until the cars smartly, I'm not going to give beef with the cars, put in that little beep that said, "Hey, knucklehead, put on your seatbelt," that those things finally changed. But yeah, I think everyone was a little bit less careful. And then social media comes, and now with social media, you can see a million things a day that horrify you and make you a little bit more cautious. I think that's part of it. Is like we just see so much now that we're more cautious.
Well, one of my favorite things as a little kid, or somewhat little kid, was when we had a pickup truck and riding in the back of the pickup bed. You do that now, you're probably going to jail, sir. Your son's not buckled up. Why is he riding around or standing up in the back of the pickup bed?
Well, the funniest part was it was just like kind of understood where people still knew it wasn't okay, but it'd just be like, just kind of lay down. If you see a cop, you'd see the signal, and it's like, oh, everyone lay down, get flat so they don't see you. I'm not saying my parents ever did that, but maybe me and my friends once or twice. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It still exists a little bit in the small towns. I know you got some chaos going. When I go home to Hartington, there's still knuckleheads riding around on their bikes without their helmets. I'm not employing anyone to do that, but yeah, you get to the city of Lincoln. Do they give you a ticket in Lincoln if you're just going around without a helmet?
I believe so, but I'm not sure. I guess it just depends on the day and whether it can happen. I mean, I've heard of some people getting some crazy tickets out there. So it happens from time to time. So I guess, just got to follow those rules, I guess. Now wear your helmet, be safe. I mean, now looking back on it, I mean, thinking about all the jumps, we used to make ramps. And I remember we used to have like these like dirt hills where they were building houses, and these hills we'd build ramps and stuff. And we were riding our bikes down these hills and jumping these ramps with no helmet on. I mean, looking back on it now, it probably wasn't the smartest thing ever, but hey, most of us all survived. Yeah. Most of us survived. I think everybody from the neighborhood that I grew up in, maybe there were a few broken arms, but other than that, we came out pretty well unscathed.
Yeah. I'm not going to implore it. I enjoyed the era, but you guys can be safe. I remember, when I was younger, I had like 7-8 stitches right above the eye, and I was a youngin', and you could just see the bone because it's that thin patch of skin right above your eyebrow, and I just had blood gushing down. I was freaking out. Helmet would have fixed that. and would have saved my parents a nice hospital bill as well. So definitely, in hindsight, should have broke it out a few more times, but it's crazy. I mean, we just had 2 hours with Ashley Mitchell and Emma Spence, and they had a couple of guests on, and they were putting on all the helmets. And because they've just been here for so long, I've kind of just acknowledged and gotten used to them. It's unreal. Like I can't fathom how the NFL, how they avoided so many lawsuits. Like honestly, and I get it, it's kind of a new thing, but it's incredible that the NFL is this monster that it is today. I know some people would like it to be a little bit rougher, but that's a crazy run of some just potential horrible things. And then obviously the concussion thing. Thank goodness they got a hold of that eventually, and someone finally blew the whistle on it, because that could destroy the NFL if they kept that just hidden for any longer than what they did.
You know what's crazy about that though is like the helmet technology has went up tenfold. Like the
100%.
helmets have got crazy, but the padding, it's amazing that you're seeing these players now barely wearing shoulder pads. You're very seldom see a player wearing knee pads, or they have them, but they're above their knee. And it's like, if you go back and look at like the guy that I bring up is go look at like a picture from Herschel Walker in like 1987 with the Cowboys. His shoulder pads are gigantic. And then the thigh pads, your tailbone pad. I mean, that's stuff you never see in an NFL player anymore, are thigh pads and tailbone pads. They're just non-existent. And then you look at the thigh pads now and the knee pads now. All they are is just basically like cardboard inserts. There's no padding. Like I watched that and I'm just like, wow, there is zero padding. Like, but then you look at the helmets. The helmets are like crazy, the technology they've used to protect the head, but the body from the shoulders down, they've sort of just like said, well, fast. That's the key in the NFL, is being fast. So whatever you can do to, cut down on that. I mean, if you see shoulder pads of some of these, now they've got those kind of the high tech ones, but I remember Ed McCaffrey wore like children's shoulder pads back in like 97, 98. He had like children's shoulder pads that he wore. And it's crazy too, is when I first started, back in the day, I'd have the big shoulder pads on, but then playing quarterback, I was trying to find the smallest shoulder pads possible. So by the time I finished playing, I was wearing like little kids, like I think they were like 10 or 11 inch shoulder pads, because it was easier to throw the ball. So it's crazy how that's transformed through the years. Like even you look at pictures of like John Elway back in the mid 80s, he had, the big shoulder pads on, and and then as the years came by, you saw the shoulder pads, start to decrease.
Well, even just go look at any of the Raiders during their run when they were just taping on brick cast. It's go clothesline, take people out. Like, it's just different. I guess in that, like back in the day, I would want more padding, and I would want to do the Raiders thing and just tape up, because at that point, it's violent. Today, they take the violence out of it. So I shouldn't say they take the violence out of it. They limit it. Like, you can't pile drive people. You can't hit these nasty, blindside blocks. When back in the day, that was all legal. So you would want, nowadays, like, you can see what's in front of you. And if you can't see it, that's called a blindside block. They're not going to be able to touch you. So you're not going to get just absolutely decleated the same way you were in the past. Now, you can still get decleated, but at least, you'll probably see it coming head on, and you just failed to meet that assignment. So I think that's a big part of it. I mean, as good as athletes are, the game has gotten safer. You're not going to get those cheap shots like you did in the past.
Do you want one more history story before we throw it to break?
Let's do it. I love it.
Okay, so this one's from my very own Denver football Broncos. So they had a player on their team back in the 60s. His name was Rich Jackson, and his nickname was Tombstone. Rich Tombstone Jackson. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He was a dominant player. But guess what he's known for, what the move he's known for is? He played defensive end.
I mean, is it like the Undertaker where he would tombstone people? Or what are we doing?
His move was called the Halo Spinner. And so what he would do is, he had big, strong forearms. When he'd come off the ball, the tackle would go to block him. He'd take his arm and smack the opposing team's helmet, the opposing player's helmet. And it was called the Halo Spinner.
Yeah, you
And
can't
now,
do that anymore.
the Halo spinner was banned several years ago, but it's crazy. You go back if you want to see a guy that probably should be in the Hall of Fame. He just didn't get a ton of notoriety because he was playing in Denver back in the 60s. But Rich Tombstone Jackson, he lives in folklore now because his Halo spinner was insane. And they'd have players talk. He would hit you so hard that your ears would start ringing. And then we were talking about how the helmets had no padding back then. So he was, I don't even know how many concussions he distributed just by using the Halo spinner.
Probably a lot. I mean, I was looking up some pictures. Like, that's a full on smack to the eardrum. And with those helmets, as you pointed out, like, oh man, if I was playing outside tackle or if I was playing tight end and I had to deal with that play after play, it also makes sense. Like the timelines of these NFL careers are longer now than they were in the past. What's more amazing about all of that is how many quarterbacks continue to play for years. Like that's an unreal era to be consistently starting in as many games as like some of those greats did in an era where, again, if you get sacked, like it's not, we're going to, roll off you as soon as you hit the ground. Like there's going to be some intention. Like avoiding sacks was not only a big deal because obviously you're going to lose yards, but like your quarterback's going to get destroyed if you let him get hit back there. And that's the one part of football where it does kind of suck. Like the defense should be penalized for not being able to protect their quarterback. Except for extreme cases, but that's always a little bit of a pet peeve. Like you got to let the quarterback get lit up a little bit here. I'm not saying anything dirty, but when you make them roll off, that's, you're letting the offense get away with one when in reality, they let their quarterback get there and get killed.
Yeah, I think the aging process for NFL quarterbacks back in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s was a lot faster because they were taking more hits and they were taking, just because now you see a quarterback and he's in his like 15th, 16th year. Look at Matt Stafford, for instance. Still looks like a pretty young guy. Still got, a cannon for an arm, can play the game at a high level, still has some mobility. Well, now you rewind it. Go back to like Joe Namath in his final years with the Rams. Could barely move. They were basically rolling him out there. He could still throw the ball, but he could barely run. You just look at these quarterbacks that they played, 16, 17, 18 years, but their bodies, it showed that they had played for that long. Now you're seeing these quarterbacks getting into year 16, 17, and you're just thinking, well, they probably could play another 5 years, which that was pretty much unheard of. If you made it to year 18 in the NFL, your body was pretty much, on its last leg. I mean, another guy we talked about earlier was like Roger Staubach. He played, I believe, 10 years with the Cowboys, but he had served, I believe, his military, I think it was Navy. I don't know if he was there for 2 years or 4 years, but he had to do his service before he went and played in the NFL. But he got out and I believe it was 78, 79 season. That's when Danny White took over. But those quarterbacks that were playing 16, 17, 18 years, they had took such a beating, there were no rules protecting the quarterbacks. I mean, go back and look in the 70s and 80s and some of these hits that these quarterbacks took. One of the big time NFL hits of all time, Gary Danielson, the color commentator that's retiring from CBS, he played for the Detroit Lions. There's a play where he gets absolutely decapitated on the sideline, and you'd probably be serving a 2-game suspension these days. And all it was for him was just on to the next play.
Yeah, that's unreal. My brother ever chimed in there. I don't know if you saw it. He said Tom Brady didn't get hit enough. Going back to at least Tom Brady had to play through some of the era though, where he couldn't just throw the ball in the middle. And I mean, it's tough. I never know where to fully land on this. I want some physicality back because there is a certain skill that you need as a quarterback. A, you want to protect those guys, but B, also you couldn't get your wide receivers killed. And I know Tom Brady's talked about that a lot, but that's like another skill that's kind of lost. And sometimes you see it. Like you'll see some throws over the middle that are just not worth it, and you'll see a guy get absolutely destroyed. Jimmy Garoppolo, I hate to do it to him, but he was a real big sinner when it came to that. When he went to the Raiders, I remember Devontae Adams nearly had a meltdown because he was sitting there, and I don't want to say verbatim, but pretty close, paraphrasing here, but he said like he's going to get me killed because he was just getting throws over the middle. and he had a linebacker safety right on top of him, waiting for it, waiting to line him up. So there's a little bit of that. We definitely got to throw it to break. We're over the clock here. That's on me. We got into the history books there. So don't go anywhere. We still got 2 more segments on the other side. Raff's Good Take on sports at 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyk Farm Outfitters. With the holidays behind us, our team is already looking ahead to the 2026 season. And to help you get ready, we're hosting our 2nd annual expo at our location near Exeter, January 27th. The expo covers 8 topics that matter to your farm. We'll discuss fungicides in heavy disease environments, liquid systems for your planter and how to choose the right one, how Washington is viewing important ag topics, and much more. Don't forget to stick around afterwards for the happy hour. Check out BoykFarmOutfitters.com for more info, and we'll see you there.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in segment number 2, Raff's Good Take on Sports with Chris Raff. He's streaming in from Alabama. I'm Harrison Arns in the capital city, Lincoln, Nebraska. You guys are always welcome to join in. As always, we did have one texter before we left to break. Matt R. wondering, wasn't there a safety from the Raiders who played in the 70s whose nickname was the Assassin? I know the answer, Raff. I'll see if you can get it.
Jack Tatum.
Yeah, you got it. I had to look it up. You probably didn't.
No, I didn't have enough time to. No, he was a crazy hard hitter. He played, I guess, in the 70s. He was just on the edge of being illegal, but in the 70s, he was good to go for the most part.
To be on the edge of illegal in the 70s and 80s is a statement about how violent the maneuver was.
Yeah, they're actually one of his career hits was one of the sadder ones that he had was Darryl Stingley against the New England Patriots. I believe it was 1978, I believe, right around there. He broke his neck. Actually, it was a terrible thing, so it was pretty horrible. But yeah, Jack Tatum could definitely hit you and hit you hard.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking up and tackles bordering on assault is like one of the first things that pops up in his biography. So man. But maybe it's a good thing. We got a little bit safer. All right, Chris Raff. Segment number 2. We got about a little more than 8 minutes. Where do you want to go?
Okay. I think we got to talk a little bit about this college football championship because we won't be on the air until the game is probably going to be on like the second or third quarter on Monday night. And my comment on this game is this. I'm very big sometimes on history, sometimes repeating itself. So with that, I've heard a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks about how Indiana might be the most complete team ever. They're, hard to beat and stuff like that. You have Kurt Signetti, who is a disciple of the Nick Saban, the rat poisoning. Like, don't feed our team full of a lot of rat poisoning. You hear a lot of that stuff. And with that, when I hear this, the most complete team ever going into the Orange Bowl, playing Miami, my mind automatically reverts back to 1983. And there was a team, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, were rolling into Miami, being told they were one of the best teams ever. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that this does not start another Miami Hurricane run, because basically that 83 game is what springboarded the Miami Hurricanes into football powerhouse, for a good probably close to 20 years. So I hope and I pray that this Indiana team is not, reading the articles, and I hope that history does not repeat itself, but there's a lot of likenesses going into this game that remind me an awful lot of that 83 game. So we shall see when Monday night rolls around. But I'll tell you what, when I hear a team being told that they're the most complete team ever, and then you're going, no matter what they say, I know that the crowd will probably not be pro Miami is what it is. But when you're going to Miami, at Miami, there's always that possibility that, those Miami fans could maybe find a way to infiltrate their home stadium. So it'll be interesting to see how that crowd shapes up for on Monday night. But man, I'll tell you what, when you're an opposing team going into Miami, sometimes that Miami Hurricane magic does show itself.
Yeah, I want to see what the spread is for that one. I know obviously Indiana was favored in it. See if it moved at all. No, not much. 8.5 Indiana, or excuse me, 7.5 is what it opened up. It did move a little bit more in Indiana's favor, 8.5. So Vegas isn't seeing a blowout. And I don't like referencing Vegas because I'm not the biggest gambler, but Vegas usually does have a pretty good pulse. So Vegas isn't necessarily suspecting a blowout. It might be closer than what people think. Now, I mean, a 7.5 spread is still 7.5, but I don't know what to expect. I mean, with Miami, you could take the layup and say Indiana's going to go destroy Miami. But to your point, a little bit of history lesson would say sometimes we've just been flat out wrong when we make these bold statements saying we are the best team out there. We're top to bottom, the best constructed roster. We do X, Y, and Z. These guys don't. You maybe get yourself into a little bit of hot water because I don't think Miami's sitting around waiting for Indiana thinking we're good boys. We're ready to roll in there and go take down Indiana. Those guys are working right now.
Yep.
And do it, even if it's not a ton of physical reps with the game coming up, you're out of your mind if you don't think Miami is doing everything they possibly can to have a good game plan to how to take down this Hoosiers team. And there are some examples out there. I always go reference that Iowa game. You can find some teams that gave Indiana fits. So this is not just a done deal. Let's all wait for Indiana to go roll over Miami.
Well, and when you're the opposing team and you're being told constantly that, hey, you're not going to win, this team's the most complete team ever. That's where those 83 flashbacks are very vivid for me, because Miami back in 83 was being told, hey, you're playing Nebraska, the scoring explosion, the team of the century, this, that. It's not going to be whether Nebraska wins. It's what is the scoring margin going to be? And when you're an opposing team, I don't care who you are, when you're being told, over and over again that you can't win, that builds those fires to, crazy. So I'm sure the fires in Miami will be stoked up come Monday night. So it's going to, but like I said, reverting back, Kurt Signetti, coaching under Saban. Saban has always been the master of, convincing his teams not to listen to the rat poisoning that's out there. So it'll be interesting to see how Kurt Signetti can, get his team up. I mean, of course, you're playing a national title, you're going to be up for it, but can they divert all that, fire that Miami's going to bring, hearing constantly that they're not, I mean, heck, they're a 7.5 point underdog. So they're hearing all the reasons why they can't win. So it's shaping up. I think it could be a really, really good game just for what we've heard. And because, man, when you're told something, sometimes, you want to prove people wrong. And I think that's the way Miami's going to be coming into this game. And plus they'll have Michael Irvin there. So, that's huge.
Yeah, it is. It's been working for him. I can say that much. Wait, I mean, have we seen Indiana really be coming back from behind yet this season? The only defense is really good, and I think that's kind of the hope for Miami, is if they can do a little bit of what Iowa did, right, and just keep them in front, absolutely deny anything over the top. Yeah, they're going to get their first downs, but just let them have those, because Mendoza will make you pay, and they're too good. Their analyst team seeing what you're doing on defense, and then, of course, their offensive coordinator, they figure out ways to take advantage of you, right, when you fall asleep. If they can play that Iowa defense and just keep it in front, I wonder if they could pull something off, or if they can just get the lead. I haven't seen Indiana, I don't think, this season be in a situation where they're behind the sticks.
The Penn State game.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. There was the Penn State
so
game.
They've shown that they, Mendoza can keep cool, calm, and collected when it matters most. But I don't think we've ever seen them down, major. Actually, I think Penn State might have had them down 14, or I think they had it kind of where you were starting to think maybe the run was over for Indiana.
It was
was it?
Yeah, 17? So it was just a one score lead.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything crazy. It'll be interesting to see if Miami would storm ahead, say 17-3 in the first quarter. If Indiana is able to run off, 14 straight to tie the game up. Oh man, now I'm having more 83 flashbacks. That was what Miami did.
Easy now. I don't like Miami that much.
My history craziness is coming out. Oh, trust me, I don't want to see Miami go on another one of those runs, because I have a feeling if they're able to defeat Indiana on Monday night, I think you see another one of those Miami runs for the next 5 to 10 years, because Mario Cristobal is a great coach, and that will give that program that fire that they need. Not fire, but the players, and Miami's going to become the cool thing to do again. So I'm hoping that Indiana, can hold them off. He can win the national championship and then take the job with the Steelers the next day.
Yeah, I mean, location-wise, if Miami ever gets back to that spot, location-wise, awesome location to be at university. I mean, to sell young kids on come play football in Miami, you have the fan base, the fanfare there that you're going to be able to sell. And then if you win this one, yeah, those boosters, they start opening up their wallets even more. And there is a lot of notable Miami alumni that probably be willing to throw some money at it. And they'd probably be the hot spot to go to for a lot of the portal guys. And that's just the era we live in. The transfer portal can really decide fate of a lot of these rosters. And if Miami wins this, they get kind of the pick of the litter for some of these transfer guys. They're in a good spot already. They're going to be able to patch up the roster how they want to. So I hope you're wrong about this. You're kind of scaring me with a little bit of history flashback. I hope that's not the case. And Indiana goes out there and
I see stuff, and man, I flash back, and like I'll listen to storylines, and that storyline of like being told they're the most complete team ever and one of the best teams ever, it automatically throws me back to 19, well, would have been January of 1984 is the game was played, or I guess it was January 1st, 1984. Yeah. So it throws me back into that time frame of when a team was told that, they were the greatest team ever and they were going to win the national championship. Wasn't by how much, it was by how many, not by if they'd win or not. And I just have that scary feeling that Indiana might run into a Canes team down in Miami. I want to say on January 1st, just to, be old school, but it won't, it'll be more like January 20th or something around there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it has the making of being a really good game. And then it'll be curious to see. I still think what'll happen with Cignetti. I think he stays in Indiana, but I would not be surprised if an NFL team makes a push to try to bring him to the NFL.
Well, if he wins, I think that's closer to him going to the NFL. If they lose, I think he's going to stay there until he wins it, because that's kind of been his track record. But we'll have to wait and see. Quickly, Raff, because we didn't have time for this. I want to quick hit it before we get out of here. Broncos, yes. Bills. We're just going to go through all 4 games. Broncos, Bills. Who you got?
Who do you think, Harrison?
The Bills? No, Broncos. Patriots, Texans. Who you got?
Oh man, this is a tough game for me. I'm gonna go the Patriots.
Okay, Patriots, Broncos. Is this a Broncos Super Bowl year?
We haven't got there yet, but you know who I'd choose. Come on, Harrison.
Okay, Seahawks, 49ers.
I'm going to go with 49ers.
Okay, me too. I actually, I'm going to change that for Arden Lockheim's sake. She's a big Seahawks fan. I'll root for the Seahawks. I have no vested interest, not this round yet.
The crazy thing with 49ers this week is there's talk that Fred Warner is going to play. I mean, it's unbelievable. Did you see that injury that he had earlier in the year? Mm-hmm. There is talk that he is going to play. He's going to play, and he's going to play well. No, but it's just crazy. That injury was gruesome. And now he's practicing. It's crazy. So I'm going, and the 49er players, they were wanting that Seattle game after they won last week. There was a lot. Hey, what Juwan Jennings say? Can't wait in the Bart Scott voice. So yeah, definitely I'm going 49ers there.
All right. Rams, Packers. Or geez, Rams, Bears.
Packers,
you wish. Yes. That wasn't even intentional.
All right. I am going to go with the home field advantage. I'm going to go with your Chicago Bears. I think it's going to be a Bears 49ers NFC championship.
Was that your real answer? Or is that just because I'm your co-host?
No, I'm going with the Bears. I've thought about this. I think the Bears can, if they can stymie the Rams. I think the big thing is keep Puka, under control. Don't let Devontae get good. I think this is a game where if you're the Bears, you try to put it on Kyron Williams. Yeah, Kyron Williams' shoulders. I think you want to try and force them to run the ball more than they pass. I think if they can get them off schedule on their offense, I think the Bears have a good chance, especially with the momentum that they've got right now. I think with Caleb Williams and that crowd, I think they definitely going to have that home field advantage cooking. And I think you've got a quarterback right now that believes he can win no matter what. And that's big time. So I'm saying the Bears. Oh, would you look at that? You know what? I'll be rooting for your Broncos, Raff. This has been fun. Like I said, I say it all the time, but who would have thought? Look at us. Still talking about our teams. January 15th, and they got another playoff game this weekend. We got Raff's good take on the other side, though. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket. We will get there next, right here in a little bit.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro Joe, move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call
John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Final segment, Raff's Good Take on Sports. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. We're here for 2 more hours after this one wraps up, all the way till midnight for all those folks listening locally and on the Ticket app. You can download that, 93.7 The Ticket. Should pop up right for you on the App Store. All right, Chris, Raff, what is your good take for today on a Thursday?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take goes out to the Duvall family birthday triumvirate. We've got 3 birthdays all lining up. So today, on the 15th, Lacey Duvall, she turns 21 years old today. So I'm assuming she might be partaking in a beverage tonight. So congratulations to Lacey, 21st birthday. Been an amazing 21 years. Tomorrow, their father, Chris Duvall, aka CD. CD's birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday, CD. And then the next day, so what'd that be? Sunday? No, tomorrow, Friday. No, Saturday is Lainey Duvall, the sister, the second, or the number 2 sister. She was born second. I call her Lainey Boggs. So Lainey Boggs' birthday will be on Saturday. So we got 3 birthdays: Lacey, CD, and Lainey. Happy birthday. You 3 are Raff's Good Take. So awesome people, awesome people, awesome people.
Well said, Chris Raff. I'll just double up on them. I'll just take your word for it that they're awesome people. Happy birthday, guys. Yeah, maybe I'll meet you someday. But Raff usually keep pretty good company, so I'm assuming they're good people, and I will double down on that for you. With that being said, that's going to wrap it up for us. That is another week of Raff's Good Take on Sports. We'll be back again next week, same times as always, 9 to 10 p.m. But up next, we got the Morning Pearsonell right here, 93.7 The Ticket.